The statement landed less than 24 hours after Meghan Markle appeared in a pre-recorded message from Santa Barbara, framed as a moment of personal accountability. In the heartfelt clip, published on her own media platform, Archibald Journal, Meghan spoke with an unusual calm, acknowledging past missteps in how she had leveraged her royal status in media appearances and brand deals. The contrast between her serene delivery and the palace's rigid stance was striking. She went even further, stating, "I accept the decisions made by the monarchy. I will no longer use any royal title or association in public engagements or commercial work. My only hope is that my children, who are of royal blood, are not denied their connection to heritage." On the surface, it seemed like a rare act of humility, but behind palace doors, insiders say the reaction was far from softened. Palace insiders viewed Meghan's apology video as a calculated move, a strategic PR play meant to frame the monarchy's final decisions as a mutual understanding rather than a firm decree. And so, in an unusually rapid turnaround, the palace responded with a formal directive signed off by King Charles III and officially communicated through the Lord Chamberlain's office, underscoring the seriousness of the moment. The withdrawal of titles, privileges, and heraldic rights from the Duchess of Sussex is not personal. It is a matter of royal institutional judgment. The Crown exercises authority with solemnity, not negotiation. Many outside the UK forget that royal titles are not personal property, nor simple honorary awards. These are sovereign designations granted through letters patent, a binding legal instrument of the monarch. In Meghan's case, her last remaining claims to Duchess of Sussex and Countess of Dunbarton were reviewed in a closed Privy Council session on November 30th, 2025. The outcome had already been sealed before Meghan's video, with King Charles signing the official revocation on December 2nd. Sources close to Princess Anne, who played a pivotal role in the Internal Review Committee, confirmed her decisive influence on the final decision. Palace sources say concerns had been growing over Meghan's attempt to spin the narrative, attempting to relinquish a title after it had already been stripped. "It's not about punishment," said one aide close to Anne. "It's about clarity. You cannot turn a legal revocation into a sympathetic exit speech that muddies the monarchy's authority." While Meghan formally relinquished her titles, she did not stay silent about her children, Archie and Lilibet Diana. "While I respect all decisions regarding me personally," she said, "I hope that Archie and Lilibet are given the freedom to explore and maintain their royal roots as they grow." On the surface, this seemed maternal, a simple plea, but palace insiders interpret it as a carefully measured strategy to protect future interests. According to UK constitutional analysts, children born to a prince remain in the line of succession unless Parliament explicitly removes them. This technical proximity grants them access to legacy trusts, including the Sandringham Heritage Trust, the Windsor Royal Lineal Fund, and Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Reserve, funds that, while discretionary, typically benefit descendants in positive standing with the monarchy. By affirming her children's royal connection, Meghan may be trying to safeguard their inheritance and access, even as she herself steps away. But the sharpest response came not from Charles or Anne, but Prince William, now increasingly seen as the operational head of the next-generation monarchy. "No child in this family will be denied love, protection, or heritage," he said in a surprise doorstep statement at Kensington Palace on the evening of December 5th. "That protection cannot be traded for press appearances or twisted into PR narratives. Blood does not equal entitlement. That is a lesson we are committed to uphold for all our children." His words drew a firm line, leaving no room for misinterpretation. Sources say William was particularly troubled by Meghan's attempt to frame the title loss as a shared understanding. It marked the closing of a chapter that had long eroded public trust. Princess Anne, never one to soften her tone, pushed the point even further. In a rare written statement published in The Times on December 6th, she made it clear that decisions regarding royal guardianship and titles remained separate from parental rights or personal claims. "The House of Windsor has no interest in litigating parentage or custody," Anne wrote, "but legal titles, privileges, and obligations are the responsibility of the Crown, not subject to maternal veto." Her final line was quiet but unmistakable. "If Meghan believes she gave something up, let the record show it had already been taken." Prince Harry, speaking informally to a family confidant on December 6th, framed it bluntly. "I am not a bargaining chip between past and future. I'm a father first." For perhaps the first time in over 3 years, Harry now finds himself caught not between two institutions, but between two opposing worldviews under the same roof. Meghan Markle's abrupt decision to renounce all personal royal titles while affirming her children's entitlements has created a fracture line within their household. Insiders in Montecito say Harry was neither consulted on the wording nor prepared for the inevitable backlash. The palace's swift, final response left no room for reinterpretation. Titles are not tools to negotiate. They are sovereign designations, and any use beyond royal authorization is considered a breach of constitutional order. Inside Clarence House, it's confirmed that King Charles III privately called Prince Harry on the evening of December 5th. The conversation lasted just under 12 minutes. While no transcript exists, 2 senior aides reported the King's tone was measured but unyielding, leaving Harry with a clear understanding of the Crown's position. In a pointed statement, Charles reiterated what was already public. Meghan's emotionally charged words did not alter any legal decisions. The revocation of her titles had already gone through royal protocol, bearing the sovereign's seal. There would be no reversal, no future reinstatement, no second chances. Harry reportedly listened in silence for most of the call, but as the discussion shifted to Archie and Lilibet's long-term relationship with the Crown, the conversation grew heavier. He asked what protection would mean in practical terms, according to a palace source familiar with the briefing. The King reminded him sharply, "Protection does not mean preference." Meanwhile, Prince William's tone was firmer, almost steel-edged. In a follow-up briefing with close advisers at Kensington Palace, he made it clear that any narrative suggesting selective treatment for Archie and Lilibet due to public pressure would not be tolerated. This was a defining moment in William's leadership. The message was unmistakable. Royal legacy cannot be cherry-picked, and status comes with service, not sentiment. "Either you are within the framework of royal responsibility, or you're not," William reportedly said. "If you're not, then titles, access, and legacy must align accordingly." His words rippled across press rooms and political offices alike, leaving little room for misinterpretation. Observers compared the tone to Queen Elizabeth II's famous 1992 Annus Horribilis address, a containment of emotion amid family turmoil. But the stakes now included structural and legal implications. Constitutional experts point out that children in the line of succession qualify for multiple trust funds and privileges, but these often come with strict clauses: active engagement with the Crown, parental alignment with royal duty, and non-commercial use of royal symbols. By formally separating herself while asserting her children's royal identity, Meghan navigated a very fine line. She may be positioning Archie and Lilibet for long-term inheritance, particularly access to the Windsor lineal reserve and Queen Elizabeth II's trust for Commonwealth heirs. In short, she accepts the loss of personal status, but is framing her children as rightful heirs, potentially opening a legal grey area if their guardianship remains outside the monarchy's direct oversight. Princess Anne refused to let ambiguity take hold. In an op-ed released by The Telegraph on the morning of December 6th, she set the record straight. No child is being taken, claimed, or absorbed by the Crown. What is being withdrawn is the use of a brand loaded with weight, security implications, diplomatic power, and historical significance. Such a brand cannot be wielded outside the realm of duty. Anne cited the precedent of Lady Louise Windsor and James, Earl of Wessex, the children of Prince Edward and Sophie, who were educated in public schools, grew up without titles or expectations, and only later chose whether to assume royal duties. She concluded with precision, "If Archie and Lilibet wish to serve one day, they will be welcomed, but they will not be treated like tradable assets." Meanwhile, the removal of a title is not a conversation. It is a matter of record. The Royal Legal Advisory Council's briefing note from November 30th, 2025, emphasised that revocation of royal titles is far from symbolic in the British constitutional monarchy. It carries the weight of history, Parliament, and legal precision. On November 30th, that wait became undeniable at 9:42 a.m. GMT. The Royal Communications Office uploaded a sealed order in council, formally declaring, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, shall no longer hold or be referred to by any noble title granted by royal prerogative, effective immediately. All rights to represent the crown or associate with its symbols, including family crests, stylized monograms, or the Duchess label in public or commercial work, were terminated. The order included a clarification for her children. Archie and Lilibet remain in the line of succession, but will not inherit styling or status unless granted in the future by direct act of the reigning monarch. This wasn't just policy. It was constitutional recalibration. Within 72 hours, Meghan launched a carefully calculated effort to reclaim narrative control. She appeared not on talk shows, but in a quiet, heart-centered interview with independent American journalist Aria Jameson, filmed discreetly in California and released on December 3rd. The tone was stripped of scandal and glitz. She wore a neutral cashmere sweater, no makeup, no jewelry, entirely focused on motherhood. I am not clinging to any title, Meghan said softly. I've let it go because my children's well-being matters more. She admitted for the first time that using the Duchess brand early on had been misguided, underestimating the weight of responsibility it carried. But she quickly shifted the focus. My hope is not for privilege, she said. It's for protection. For Archie and Lilibet to know they belong, that they are not forgotten, even if we live far away. The interview went viral within 36 hours, amassing over 18 million views across YouTube and Instagram. Hashtags like #MotherBeforeMonarch trended in the US and Canada. Several celebrity figures, including Viola Davis and Kerry Washington, publicly supported her. Media analysts hailed it as a masterclass in emotional positioning, reframing Meghan not as the rebellious Duchess, but as a protective, outsider mother. Yet beneath the tone, legal scholars detected a strategic angle. Meghan's language hinted at Article 7.3 of the Crown Legacy Allocation Act, 2002 Amendment, a clause governing beneficiary eligibility for the royal lineal reserves. These multi-billion-pound trusts include property shares, artworks, and liquid assets from Queen Elizabeth II's personal holdings, but children must remain in good standing with the Crown. Historically, this has meant no estrangement beyond 5 years and active participation in Crown-led educational or cultural programs. No parent can violate royal policy or engage in defamation. This is where Meghan's pivot becomes strategic. By embracing royal norms publicly and distancing herself from prior friction, she positions herself in support of the monarchy's relationship with her children. She may be setting the legal foundation for Archie and Lilibet's inclusion in these long-term inheritance structures. A royal insider put it bluntly. She doesn't want to go back in. She wants the future secured. She's thinking 20 years down the line. Meanwhile, King Charles III is navigating a diplomatic tightrope, his own health concerns increasingly visible. At the recent Remembrance Sunday ceremony on November 10th, he appeared noticeably fatigued, yet remains determined to unify the core family before what insiders are already calling the year of recalibration in 2026. To that end, Charles has authorised a special oversight unit within the royal household, the Succession Integrity Office. Its mandate is clear: prevent misuse of titles or lineage references in the media, monitor interactions between external households such as the Sussexes and minor heirs, and define long-term education, security, and engagement protocols for royal minors living outside the UK. We're not closing doors, a royal aide clarified. We're closing loopholes. For Harry, the emotional toll is tangible. He is neither leading Meghan's maternal campaign nor defending the palace publicly. Instead, he's doing something uncharacteristic: staying silent. Sources confirm he cancelled 2 public appearances in late December, along with a planned podcast relaunch under Spotify's alternative media brand. Friends describe him as adrift. He thought the battle was between families, said a former military confidant, but now it's between eras, and he's stuck in the middle, unsure where loyalty even fits. The Crown does not negotiate its dignity, least of all with those who have chosen to walk away, as Princess Anne reminded the Privy Council on December 1st, 2025. If King Charles is the monarch seeking unity and Prince William the anchor of royal continuity, Princess Anne is the sharp, unyielding blade defending the Crown's moral and legal clarity. On the morning of December 1st, Anne led a closed-door session of the Royal Legal Protection Board, joined by advisers from the Home Office, MI5, liaison officers, and 3 senior Privy Council representatives. The meeting, held at St James's Palace, focused on Meghan Markle's recent media statements, particularly her claim that Archie and Lilibet should retain full access to royal privilege without engaging in royal duties. Anne's tone was measured but firm, cutting through layers of celebrity spin and emotional press coverage. She referenced a 1987 ruling concerning Prince Edward and Sophie's children, now the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh. At that time, Queen Elizabeth II deliberately chose not to style Lady Louise and James as Her Royal Highness, allowing them to live as private citizens unless they opted into royal duties upon adulthood. They went to normal schools, played on ordinary fields, with no security convoys or royal interference. Turning to the current debate, Anne addressed Archie and Lilibet's future visibility, legal guardianship, and inheritance entitlements. Her declaration, formally entered into the royal record on December 1st, stated, "Until age 18, any minor child with royal lineage remains under parental legal guardianship, but cannot engage with or be engaged by the monarchy without Crown consent. No titles, styling, past or pending guarantees, inheritance rights, or state-provided security applies." The revocation of Meghan Markle's titles was a Crown Act, not a private negotiation or maternal bargaining tool. This is about the clarity of legacy. No one markets Crown symbols without consequence. Her statements rippled through constitutional scholars, royal correspondents, and diplomatic circles. For the first time, the palace drew a public line. Royal status is earned through service, not birth alone. Although Meghan framed her acceptance of title revocation as gracious and motherly, her words implied a maternal claim to negotiate access to the monarchy for her children. She cited Prince Louis, youngest son of William and Catherine, as a precedent. Louis is not actively fulfilling duties yet, but Anne dismantled that argument in a December 2 counterbriefing. She noted that Prince Louis, while not currently active, is being raised within the core royal household, receiving direct exposure to protocol, national institutions, and heritage service. Meghan's children, while not penalised, are not integrated into Crown functions and have no institutional standing to claim rights or protections reserved for active lineal heirs. A senior aide close to Anne summarised bluntly, "Meghan wants sovereignty over her children's symbolic proximity to the Crown, without obligation. But proximity is not a right. It is a burden, one this family does not place lightly. To prevent future confusion, the final formalisation of Royal Memo 47A was signed jointly by King Charles and Prince William on December 4, 2025. The memo reiterates, no reinstatement or protection of styles, titles or privileges can occur without formal sovereign act or a 2/3 Privy Council vote. No private agreement or media negotiation can influence royal line policy, guardianship structures, or visibility rights for minors under Crown record. Public appearances, documentaries, children's books, or charity campaigns involving royal minors must be pre-approved, else they risk legal and financial penalties under the Royal Commercial Misuse Act 2013. Although the memo was not unprecedented, it marks the first time it has been applied to non-residing royal minors overseas. Charles, though reluctant to escalate tensions, approved it without edits, reportedly stating, "This is not about severing ties, it's about preserving truth." Prince William's tone at a December 5th charity dinner for bereaved veterans was equally austere. "My children will serve their nation, so will my brothers if they choose to walk with honour, but no one markets the Crown without consequence." Sources close to William confirm he has ceased all informal communication with Meghan, now speaking to Harry only through encrypted channels managed by legal counsel. As for Harry, insiders at Frogmore Hall, still technically leased to him through early 2026, report he has not returned to the UK and is delaying confirmation of any Christmas appearance at Sandringham. The days following Princess Anne's formal briefing and the publication of Royal Memo 47A triggered a seismic shift, not just within Buckingham Palace, but across media outlets, legal think tanks, and even Parliament, making the royal family's stance on legacy, guardianship, and public duty unmistakably clear. What began as a symbolic clarification about Archie and Lilibet's status has escalated into a full-blown constitutional conversation. Legacy precedent, the limits of celebrity influence, and the sovereignty of the crown are now in the spotlight. In the early hours of December 3rd, Meghan Markle released a professionally filmed message from her Montecito home. Dressed simply in cream cashmere, flanked by a modest family portrait and children's drawings, she read from a printed letter with calm precision. I understand now the implications of my previous actions. I fully accept the decision of the Crown. I will not use my title in personal, commercial, or media activities. I only ask that my children maintain a bond, spiritual, not ceremonial, with the family of their birth. Within 36 hours, the video had amassed 12 million views. Critics labelled it emotional PR. Supporters called it graceful. Analysts, however, saw something more calculated beneath the surface. Veteran royal correspondent Nigel Harrison described it as a preemptive move to avoid legal blowback while strategically retaining long-term access to royal legacy through emotional capital and narrative positioning. Indeed, legal advisors to the Crown have repeatedly warned about sympathy laundering, a PR tactic designed to recast accountability into victimhood, especially when inheritance, trust, and access privileges are at stake. Under letters patent from 1917 and revised provisions under the 2012 Succession to the Crown Act, only those maintaining recognised royal standing, by name, duty, or documented lineage, can claim certain state-held properties or legacy assets. Two royal trusts remain legally ambiguous. The Queen Elizabeth II Youth Legacy Fund, established in 2022 for all descendants of sovereign service, and the Balmoral Reserve Titles Pool, which includes symbolic holdings such as estate shares, historic jewellery, intellectual property, photo rights, and ceremonial crests. Investigative journalist Clara Renford notes that Meghan's statement was less about her own titles and more subtly aimed at preserving her children's eligibility for these trusts by positioning herself as a cooperative parent. Renford adds, "She reframes the Crown as the aggressor if it blocks her children. This isn't just maternal, it's masterful." On December 4th, Princess Anne issued a second clarification via the Royal Press Office, quoting archival precedent from King George VI. "No child shall bear the burden of pageantry unless prepared to shoulder its discipline." Anne confirmed that Archie and Lilibet would not be excluded from legacy trust considerations, but only under the same conditional structure applied to all royal minors. This includes no access before age 18, confirmation of public service engagement, proof of UK-based education or residency for review, and strict compliance with media use restrictions involving the Crown's name or imagery. Anne's closing words were stark. "Inheritance is not a birthright. It is a burden, and no burden shall be handed to those who market it as a brand." Prince William, deliberately measured in recent weeks, has emerged as the quiet enforcer of institutional coherence. Sources confirm he has instructed legal teams to review use of the Cambridge coat of arms across several digital platforms, including those formerly affiliated with Meghan and Harry's Archwell Foundation, a clear warning of future litigation if royal symbols continue to be used without palace sanction. Meanwhile, William's appearance at the Royal Civic Trust Summit on December 5th was deliberately silent on his brother, letting policy, not emotion, speak. Political editor Vanessa Krah noted it was the most devastating silence imaginable in Westminster. Meanwhile, an informal cross-party group of MPs, led by Sir Malcolm Davies, Conservative, and Angela Toth, has begun circulating a non-binding motion proposing a succession integrity review. While not directly targeting Harry or his children, the motion seeks to define limitations on royal descendants raised outside the UK, clarify inheritance eligibility for minors not engaged in crown duties, and audit crown symbols in media. Palace insiders say Charles privately supports the initiative, seeing it as a way to formalise protections against future reputational risks. "The monarchy is not a reality show," MP Toth told reporters, and it's time the law reflected that. As Buckingham Palace's December chill settled over Windsor, the final contours of this crisis hardened. The royal tone shifted, sharp, clear, and uncompromising. No more negotiation, no ambiguity, and no exception for those who chose celebrity over service. One of the most conspicuous absences in the days following the announcement has been Prince Harry himself. Insiders confirm he has neither commented publicly nor appealed privately to Buckingham Palace since December 2nd, when the title revocation was formally published in the London Gazette. A source close to Kensington describes him as disoriented but unsurprised. Harry knew this was coming. There were warnings, meetings, letters. The Crown offered every chance for dignified disengagement. Meghan made it tactical, he made it personal, and now he's caught between a wife's strategy and a father's legacy. According to former palace aide Sir Jonathan Markham, Harry has privately consulted legal advisors regarding Archie and Lilibet's rights to use family names in education and travel documents. No formal request has been submitted, showing even he is uncertain of the battle ahead. In a rare leak, a handwritten memo from King Charles III to Princess Catherine, dated December 4th and embossed with the Windsor seal, was revealed in the Daily Times. Though brief, it was intensely personal. Let this moment be the last we bend. You have carried our name with dignity amid storms meant to break it. From this winter forward, let the world see what our house stands for. Insiders say the note followed a private father-son call between Charles and William, their first one-on-one in 3 weeks, focused on restoring the moral centre of the House of Windsor without turning its gates into fortress walls. On December 25th, King Charles is set to deliver what aides describe as the most values-driven speech of his reign. Early drafts indicate it will address the cost of public betrayal, the burden of legacy, and praise Princess Anne's institutional courage. It will also highlight Catherine's quiet leadership, charity work, and diplomacy, while sending a pointed, generalised message about misuse of royal titles and the dangers of trading legacy for headlines. The broadcast from St George's Hall, Windsor Castle, symbolically echoes Queen Elizabeth II's family diplomacy and royal resolve. An aide confirmed he won't mention names, but the message will be unmistakable. Internal sources reveal the palace has finalised the Windsor reset doctrine, the term senior courtiers use for post-Meghan operational protocol. Key provisions include: all royal descendants must reside in the UK by age 15. No family member may license, replicate, or suggest royal authority in media without pre-clearance from the Royal Communications Office, and a Royal Symbol Protection Act, currently in draft, will criminalise unauthorised use of royal seals, insignias, or family names on any monetised platform. The doctrine also revises heir mentorship, including Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, providing international legal training and digital media security from age 12, a direct lesson from the Sussex fallout. As Lady Mary Pelham, former ethics advisor to the Privy Council, noted on December 6th, there are no further legal moves from Meghan's team. Her Netflix documentary deal remains intact, but a scheduled late December podcast is indefinitely postponed. Tech industry watchdogs report streaming partners are reassessing the use of former royal branding in promotional material. Platforms now review what royal adjacent actually means and whether it exposes them to legal risk. In short, Meghan's next move may be silent. From the outside, it looks like titles revoked, press statements issued, and a few frosty emails sent. But insiders know the Crown has quietly redefined itself, steadfastly, without apology. Meghan may have believed she was negotiating from a position of strength, using her role as mother, storyteller, and modern icon to shape the battlefield. But in choosing Hollywood strategy to answer royal doctrine, she misread the soil beneath the throne. The monarchy didn't counterattack. It clarified, not with emotion, but with centuries of precedent, power, and patience. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, subscribe, share with friends, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't miss any updates from the royal front lines.